Whoa, what do we have here? The crew. Hey, and y'all, we all live right now. Yee! We don't want to do a rerun right away, y'all. Anyways, those watching replay, hopefully you can catch a glimpse, maybe some wisdom from us, some encouragement, entertainment, etc. Hopefully you enjoy it. And we got the best co-host on YouTube tonight. We got Todd and Mariah, the best. And I seen in the chat we got the best moderator too as well, Sam. Wait, he's been putting links in the chat and everything. That's awesome. Okay. Hopefully, like I said earlier, hopefully you had a wonderful week. If not, hey, vibes, Todd, and Mariah is gonna turn it around, and we're gonna have a wonderful weekend.
You get that right.
So welcome, y'all. How was your week, Mariah? How's it been going? You're on mute. You muted again. Hold on. You guys have some technical difficulties. Bear with us as I figure it out.
Still muted, Mariah.
I don't know what's going on.
No. I am not really sure. She'll sort it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. She'll figure it out. While she's figuring it out, y'all, let's go to the chat. Welcome everyone in. Sorry, everyone, for the little delay, but here we go. Yes. Wait, put the link to Grant, Griffin Empire, during knee surgery recovery. You can help him out. There you go. And don't forget Saint Dust family. GoFundMe. And we got Skyler Quality. Welcome. Nice, Jimmy P. You're still painting walls and stands. Guys, I'm listening. Nice, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy, are you recording this? And you can put a video out about it? Because I want to see it. We got Skull Aquatics. Welcome. Going on the chat. We got John. My Fish Cakes Aquatics. Hey, welcome back, Mariah. We missed you.
Hey, sorry about that,
There
guys.
she is.
Yeah, now we hear you. You sound good. Okay. Jeff Kane. Hashtag Wonka. No, what were they talking about over there? Chocolate?
Maybe. Snozberries?
That's interesting. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Crayfish Empire. Mark Sterlson. Welcome, mate. How you doing? Hey, Jay. Not a Quam guy. Welcome. Pesonics. Welcome.
Sam got my reference. Snozberries taste like snozberries.
Okay.
That's a Willy Wonka line.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Annette. Welcome.
Eric misses me. I miss Eric. I haven't seen him since September.
Bernowski.
I miss all my friends.
Long time show. Welcome.
There's my neighbor, Michael.
How far away are you from him?
Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, 40 minutes. Not much. He's in like the next town over.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Hey, Nancy.
Nancy B, welcome. I want to make it to the bottom of the chat, y'all. We'll hit the topic. You know what I mean? And by the way, welcome everyone. Rachel! Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots. And okay, that's it. You guys don't want to hear me rap. It sounds horrible. Okay. Chocolate cakes versus the chocolate bristle milk thickers. Okay. Now, yeah, I get it. I like it. Okay. Like I said, I get the bottom of the chat, and I did. That was fast.
You're getting good.
Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah. The topic for tonight. We're at odds. Now that's just weird. Hey,
happens though.
Is that a good thing though?
Tonight, I think it is. Ordinarily, I could understand the concern over this topic, but tonight I think it's not a bad thing. I think we'll remain friends in the end after we get through our differences.
Okay, we hope.
Hopefully. And you guys are along for the ride to see what happens.
Yeah. Stay even. I can't even. Fish Fam Link is here. It's official, y'all. We are live.
Linky. And speaking of Linky and the other member of the Linky Clashy, we've got the Keystone Clash here, which is coming up, which may be one of our topics for this evening related to. So we'll see. You'll have to hold on.
Yeah. This way, maybe we'll keep glued to the seats.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff King, I think you're talking about anyone in the hobby. Actually, anyone here on planet Earth. Some of us can be pretty stubborn. Okay. Without further ado, first one. Tonight's going to be interesting. It's going to be a beginner versus professional. It's basically someone that's just getting into the hobby versus someone that's experienced, been in there 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 50 years in the hobby.
Can we back the truck up just a minute?
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep.
Perfect.
Beep. Okay,
I knew I could count on you. So I think let's just take a moment and just explain what we're talking about here, right? Our topic is we're at odds, and the idea is that we've got some topics, and I think we've decided sort of to pick opposites, kind of two ends of the spectrum on each of the topics, and we've each got, and we don't know, by the way, which side each of us is on, but our goal here is to debate those topics and bring kind of the perspective from each of us on which we think either is the one we prefer or the one that we tend to use in our hobby and things like that. So I just wanted to give the audience a little bit of the background on that so that they can understand what you're right now very, very well going to explain.
Yes. Thank you. That was awesome, Todd. I appreciate that you had us all backed up. That was good. Start from the beginning. That way everyone on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right. Back to the beginner versus professional. Who's better? And who would I rather be? That was the question that popped that arose from that statement. For me personally, they both have good points, but I'm kind of leaning on the beginner side. Because hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but it tends to be once you come in the hobby 20 years or whatever, it tends to be kind of my way or the highway kind of thing, and not really open to new ideas. So a beginner, which I kind of put myself into those shoes, because I'm open to new ideas, old ideas, but I want to learn, So that's kind of where I'm at in this whole thing, and I'd rather be a beginner. There you go. What do you think, Todd?
We're not doing very well at being at odds tonight because I'm right there with you, Vibes. Right? I think for different reasons. For me, I think about it as I consider myself a beginner too, right? I think everybody's heard here. I started keeping fish when I was a kid, 20 years ago plus. And in fact, well more than 20 years ago at this point. And then stopped. And so I got back into the hobby it'll be 4 years in the fall. And all this stuff was brand new. And the excitement, right? The excitement of sort of finding out all the information again, doing the research and buying the fish that you've dreamed about and never kept. I just feel like there's some magic to being that new hobbyist coming back into it, or starting from brand new and having the opportunity to kind of explore everything, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, again, I gotta agree with you on that. I think I like very much that I can turn to people that have been in the hobby for a long period of time, because they have so much to share and help that learning curve that I've been going through. But I like the place that I'm at right now. The excitement is there, and all of the new things I'm learning.
Mhm.
What you
Okay.
got, Mariah? What do you think?
Well, I guess I'm the odd one out here.
Ooh.
I guess I would
Oh
say
no,
that
we're making her mad already.
Yeah.
Vibes. This is not good.
does this look mad to you? Come on now. But anyways, no, I would say that I would probably lean more towards the experience side, just because that excitement that you're talking about, right? That excitement with the newfound knowledge, or of keeping a new species that you've never kept before or always wanted to keep, or what have you. I think all the knowledge that comes with being experienced gives you so many more of those exciting moments that have happened and are still able to happen. While Vibes pointed out, on one hand, a lot of more seasoned or experienced veterans in the fish keeping hobby, or any hobby for that matter, may be less inclined to trying new things, or open to new ideas. However, I feel like a truly experienced fish keeper would understand and appreciate the knowledge, and any new knowledge, or information that they can find in the hobby or would come across.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And that would, in my opinion, keep it exciting.
Yeah, so I think related to that, right? I think Curtis here, Skull, put it, you can be a beginner anytime, just switch to saltwater or plants or something new.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I think he's right. And to me, that's one of the exciting things of the hobby is there's so many different things to try and do, and so many different ways to do things. We've had discussions on stream before about that, where we each do things differently, and it all works for us individually.
Mhm.
And that's one of the great things is you can explore all that. I think
Right.
it kind of brings back for me sort of that childhood joy of
Right.
exploring, right, this new hobby that, again, a teacher had the tanks in her classroom, and I just became fascinated. And for me, that's the thing that keeps me coming back, is just that
Mhm.
fascination.
Right.
Yeah. I see Cole Workson here. Melvin, welcome.
Yep.
Silent Aquatics, welcome. Uh, yeah, I was enjoying that as well. Scar's comment.
Hmm.
So that, in other words, you can be an experience. So I think what we're getting from this, be experienced, but be open to new ideas.
Yeah, and I think it's having that natural curiosity
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to try new things and to expand your hobby in a way that kind of pushes your own boundaries on what you know and what you do. And yeah, I think
Right,
that's great.
right. Welcome, Linda. Welcome, Vishion.
Fernando, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming over. Jesse's here. Sunny
Awesome.
G.
Okay. Have we hit that one pretty good, or is there more we can knock off on it?
No, I think
We covered it.
we both hit the high points, all of
Yeah.
us, on that one.
If you stop learning new things, it gets boring.
Yeah, Nancy's right.
Exactly.
Right on, Nancy. I like that. Okay. Now this one might take you by surprise, but I've been doing this the past couple weeks, so it's kind of made me think about it. Wild fish versus tank raised fish or tank bred agricultured fish, which is better? Um, Now it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that is gonna thrive in your aquarium, you're probably better off with the agriculture, with the tank raised fish. But if you want that pure blood, that those strains that are not blemished by the hybrids, overbreeding, weak um, genes, me personally, if you asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have been the agriculture 100%. Now, this year, I've been starting to collect local, and
Mhm.
I'm seeing there's a different um, adventure for me. So I'm kind of leaning on the wild. If you're not, hey, let me back up a little bit. If you can take the wild and bring it in and breed it in your tanks,
Mhm.
then sell them or whatever. What do you want to do with them? Um, Basically, don't hurt the wild population. Is what I was going to say. If you're hurting the wild population, then you might want to go out, collect what you need to collect, but that's it. That's me personally. So go ahead.
Tough one in my mind. Really tough one because I think it's very nuanced.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of nuance here. I think, but I also can't. I got to pick one, right? And
Right.
so if I have to pick one, I'm going to say that I would tend to gravitate more towards ones that are, captive or
Mm-hmm.
preferably hobbyist bred.
Right.
I think in those situations, we know that they're used to if it's something I get at the fish club, they've in more similar parameters. It should
Mm-hmm.
hopefully be an easier transition. But there's sometimes where that just, to your point, at some point you may get into some genetic issues. And so when I think about my white clouds, uh, I'm not exactly sure where to get more to kind of increase those genetics.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, would you have to go, if you can even find, a wild caught fish in that situation, because they still don't really know a lot about them, and I don't think there's a lot that's being collected. So it's very nuanced, but I would say if I have to pick one, I would say I would go for one that was done, hopefully hobbyist bred. I feel like you
Mm-hmm.
get really great fish that way, and all the knowledge that I think comes with it from those that are doing the breeding.
Mm-hmm. And you made a good point there about the strains, genes that are weak.
Hmm.
There's the neon tetras. Those I still have not successfully kept any alive for a long period of time in any of my aquariums. I
Hmm.
tried. I haven't had the luck yet.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
there's something
Mm-hmm.
that's making it difficult on you.
Right.
So yeah. So yeah, it's a tough one, but I think I'd go, hobbyist bred if I had to pick,
Mhm.
just for fish in general.
Yeah.
I've had very good luck, and that's what I'd do. How about you, Mariah? What's your thoughts there?
Well, I probably would agree with the captive or hobbyist bred. Uh, while there is the case that it is very extremely possible to run into genetic issues and several different problems as a result of overbreeding or what many different issues that could happen in a lot of farming situations. Um, you also see that a lot of captivity raised or tank bred fish tend to be more resistant to a lot of diseases in some cases.
Yeah.
And as you said before, TJ, they also usually are a lot sturdier, a lot hardier when it comes to being able to deal with fluctuating water parameters just because of that large scale breeding situation in most cases. So it makes them a lot easier to kind of deal with. Um, Whereas I feel like with wild caught, it not only do you open yourself up to possibly infecting your tank with more diseases, or possibly infecting the fish with diseases that your other fish could be carriers of but don't show symptoms of because they may be resistant to. It's, in my opinion, a recipe for disaster in some cases. Well, there are some fish that are pretty well done, especially wild caught, over the tank bred. So, I mean, I guess it would depend on the fish in general and how sustainably it was caught when it would come to wild caught. But personally, I would agree with tank raised or hobby raised.
Yeah, I think it's such a nuanced thing, but I think some of the points you raise around, for me, it's more of the ease of acclimation. And again, I think fish are very adaptable, but I do think there are certain circumstances where people have reported more difficulty with getting them to acclimate to local water and the shipping stress and some of those kinds of things. And in some species, the likelihood of bringing in, a parasite or something like that
Right.
is quite possible. And for the right kind of fish keeper, not a big deal, right? They can deal
Right.
with all of that and figure it all out. For the general population, it could create some challenge, and that's kind of why I think I also sort of lean in that direction.
Right.
And I think we got a plan to do something at some point here, Vibes. Our buddy Curtis, who I happen to find to be a fantastic guy, really like him. He has now asked multiple times to see tanks.
Yeah.
So specifically this time he's talking about the white clouds, but we should try and plan maybe some streams where we show off some of our stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
So something we can talk about. But he's asked a bunch of times, and he's a good friend I know of yours, and I consider him a friend, and so we need to do that at some point.
Yeah. Let's welcome some more into the live stream. For those I missed, Kelly Foreman, welcome.
Hey Kelly.
Sorry, I saw Belinda pop in.
Yep.
Welcome.
Oh, we just got DJ Guppyfish Sal just joined us.
Hey DJ, welcome. John S. Vlog, welcome. Okay. Stephen P. lurking and drawing fishes. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think if I missed you, I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay focused tonight. A little more than I normally do, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, welcome everyone. Moving on.
Clashy is in the house.
Ooh, so Clashy's in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, y'all? Let's go ahead and talk about that. A convention like Keystone Clash. Now that's a hard one. Hold on. Back up a little bit. Now I'm trying to decide where I would rate the convention versus a local club meeting. So I put the Clash in the convention part.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything. Oktoberfest, Aquashella, etc. Any of the events that are bigger than your local club meeting, per se. That's what is on the list tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, DJ. You got anything to say about that?
Yo, I do. Why not both, Vibes? Why not both? Why not a convention run by two fish clubs?
Ooh.
Keystone Clash all day. Just a fantastic event, and I have never been to an Aquashella, but everybody who has been to both say that they definitely do have a different feel. There are audiences that love both. You guys have both been to an Aquashella, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have that experience, which I don't. But for me, the way in which the Clash is set up, that kind of true hobbyist, speakers that are coming in and speaking about different things, and just all of the activities and things that they do. For me, that is usually something that I consider to be the highlight of my year. Great chance to go see all those activities, the great speakers, the vendors, and hang out with a bunch of amazing people. For me, that takes the cake. I just think it is a wonderful event. If you are interested, I do hope Vibes and hopefully maybe Mariah this year, you can make it as well. It's October 4th to the 6th, still at the Morgantown Holiday Inn. So we'd love to get a strong showing every year. It seems like it grows, and we'd like to see that happen again. But I am 100%. I think the conventions that are run by the clubs for me are the way to go.
Okay. I like it. How about you, Mariah?
Well, first of all, I hope to make it to Keystone Clash this year.
Yes.
Also hope to make it to Dallas and Daytona again. Fingers crossed on it.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be exciting to see the different environment, different audience, just the different type of event that Keystone Clash is going to be. From what I've heard about it, it's like you said, it's a really amazing event. So I'm excited to see what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Before I answer, go ahead.
That was on point. And what a huge venue! My gosh.
Yeah.
I know Vibes is not going to wear cowboy boots to that one again.
No way. No.
But wait a minute. If we all end up at the Clash, that means we can do a Thursday Night Live really live.
Really live,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we can.
True.
Count me in for that.
Would that be a double live?
It would be a live. Yep.
I see Didi pops in here. Mr. Kelly. Welcome. Stephen White. Okay. I'm making sure I didn't miss anyone before I.
I'm just scrolling through here. I think you got everybody, but
before I answer my question, okay. Me personally, they both have place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like Todd was saying, there's a different crowd. Both of them.
Sure.
At the club run events like the Clash, but what was in Kentucky? Louisville.
Triple Crown.
Those kind of events, Oktoberfest, it's kind of like a high school hangout kind of thing. And then we go to the bigger ones, Aquashella, the Beefapalooza. They seem to me more like a college hangout. Now, you'll see probably more people at the Aquashella versus the club run events. But if you want to be a little more personal with each person there, the club event would definitely be a lot better environment for that.
Okay.
I enjoy both. But, okay, let's take a step farther. When we talk about club run events, let's go on to the club, the one that you're part of. One that's local to you.
Yep.
If I had to choose between the two, it'd be the one local to me. The reason why, because there's a connection that I don't have with the Aquashella, Keystone. There's a different connection. You see each other in person every month, or twice a month, or whenever you see each other at the fish store. There's a different connection. Hey, I'm sorry for anyway playing tonight, but that's just the way it is.
No. I think it's good. I think you bring up a good point. I think for me, the local fish club, there are great people there, but it is an older club, older demographic, and I feel like coming in as a guy that's only been in the club maybe 3 years or something like that at this point,
Mhm.
it's harder to sort of make the rounds and build up the community. Uh, and that I think is unique to this population. I think there's other clubs that are different, right, and run differently, and maybe there are more new people that come in, and so that's more of a normal practice. Where this club, I think, stays kind of more the same. And so for me, I feel like the community that I built at the Clash is far easier for me to continue to expand and meet new people, and so I feel like I agree with the same reasons that you prefer
Mhm.
what you prefer. I just found it at a different forum.
Yeah. I'm just reading the chat. Some comments I'm not gonna pull up. I'm not gonna talk about, but I gotta laugh about it. Anyways.
Jorge went to San Diego State University. Cool.
Ooh. Welcome, Scuba Steve.
Hey, Scuba.
And I think I missed one more. Surf City.
Oh, Surf City. Nice.
You're welcome. But they definitely okay. Here, I will say that I see the people from the Clash, the Aquashella, probably like online more often than the
Mhm.
ones local. But it's not easy to Hey, do you have a certain fish? Can we trade? You get some plants. I got extra ones. You need some. Yeah,
Sure.
bring next week to the club meeting. You can trade them out. So
Yep. Yeah, different purpose that way, right?
yeah,
Yep.
and that's actually a hard one to put on the list. I was debating about it because they're both really good. So
Yeah.
there isn't a bad thing about either one of them.
You're not a loser either way, right?
Right. So let's, uh, let's keep moving on.
Mhm.
Community setup in your tank versus species only.
Mm. This is another one that's really hard.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So for me, I think I got to go species only.
Okay.
And it's because one of the great joys that I have in the hobby is breeding the fish. And I think it tends to be much easier if you do set them up species only. Here we are. I think it's been, man, we're probably more than a month since the Parasiprochromis, my Tanganyikan cichlids, had their first batch of babies. And the parents pay them no attention. If it was a community tank, I'm pretty sure those little guys would have been snacks by now for other fish.
Mm-hmm.
And so because that is something that I enjoy, kind of reproducing the fish and being able to then take them and share them with friends and things like that, I tend to probably lean in that direction. But I also have a community tank that I really, really like, and all the activity, and so it's tough. But I got to go species only. That's the majority of my tanks are that way.
Right. How about you, Mariah?
I'm gonna go with community on this one. Community for me. Well, the first reason being because when I first got into the hobby, being in the retail stores that I was working in, I really liked the idea of putting, in very specific cases, mind you, I really liked the idea of putting fish that technically weren't really supposed to go together by the book
Mm-hmm.
in a tank together, and seeing how changing certain water parameters or doing certain hardscapes or a different type of substrate may affect it and may allow them to thrive well together in the same environment. Now, I'm not, I'm not talking about like putting goldfish with tropical fish or something crazy, like, putting male betas in a tank with other fish. No, nothing like that. But for instance, putting South American and African cichlids together, I think is really, really cool. Because I mean, they're supposed to have two pretty different water parameters as far as pH and acidity and even hardness goes. But I've kept them together very successfully in the past, as well as a bunch of other different species together. And then the second point I would touch on would be just the level of activity that you see in a community tank, right?
Right.
I mean, from your cleanup crew and your bottom feeders that may be down there hanging out at the bottom in the substrate. And then you got your maybe lower dwelling fish, like for instance, rams or even a gourami, for instance, maybe a little bit guys hanging out down there. And then up higher, you got more activity up there. It's just really cool to see how the entire ecosystem works together. And everybody's got their own little niche. And it's also kind of fun to see when fish that are not really supposed to be in a certain area or hanging out up there. Hey, what's going on over here? It's I suppose it would be like one of those teenage movies where there's a bunch of cliques at different lunch tables and you see somebody get up from one of them and go to one that they're not really supposed to be at. It's kind of fun to watch.
Before I answer mine, I'm going to read people came in. Mrs. here lurking and driving. Mrs. drive safe. Eric! Welcome.
Oh my gosh, it's Eric.
June, Oscars, welcome.
Hey, June. And we got Hagen Hill Designs joined us.
Design. Those that don't know, I had them up on my live stream last Saturday night as a guest.
Yep.
And that was the second live stream, the third, maybe third one. But the first one was last Wednesday that they had. I see potential there. They're an awesome couple, y'all. They're hilarious. Okay, I think I caught everyone. Okay. Now, when I started in the hobby, I would have been 100% community all the way. You can put, I want that fish. Oh, that fatty looks pretty. I want the guppy over there, that Molly. How about one of those cordoras? Maybe a Grammy. Oh, they're better. Oh, you got all the colors and everything.
Yeah, sure.
So I can see that, but as of now, I'm kind of on the species only side. Since you mentioned some of your fish going to breed or have babies, my Maltese, they're in a 40 breeder, and right now I can look in there and there's at least 3 different places in the tank with babies. So they're different sets. That is just mind-boggling. That's the first one I've seen it.
Aren't they the most fascinating thing? They build such a complex social structure. They redecorate all the time. They have these weird fights that aren't real fights. Like they charge at each other, flaring their gills,
Right?
and then they decide like it's not worth it, and they give up and like they go off their separate ways. But they make each other feel like they're gonna have like a serious fight. They're hilarious. They are hilarious, and I feel like putting them in a species only situation, it just makes them do those behaviors more. So I think that's so fascinating, and the fact that, like you said, the population continues to grow.
Right. And for those that remember, occasionally I'll go in here to the tank and pull out half a dozen of them, and the population doesn't affect it even.
Nope.
Look back again. What? I thought I removed a dozen of them out there. And it's like they keep reproducing.
Yep.
So if I would have a community tank with those guys, I would not be seeing this behavior. They would not be breeding this. Okay. They'll be breeding possibly, but the survival rate would not be this good.
Right.
And we got these little babies are like what,
They're
16th
they're
inch, 8 inch long kind of thing.
yeah, they're tiny guys. Yeah,
Yeah. It'd be a snack for anything, you know?
yeah, that's
Now,
right.
and also with species only, I'm getting to see the behavior that be more to the wild, the original.
Yeah, you just there's so many more of them. Like in a
Mhm.
community tank, maybe do you have 6 of each type of fish?
Right.
In a tank like that, I think I've got something like 12 different multis that are together and they continue to repopulate. And I've got the Parasiprochromis, 4 adults and now 8 babies. And
Hmm.
so there's a much more of a population. And I do feel like it tends to make them act different, right? Now, is it
Right.
how they act in the wild? I mean, I'm sure
Probably not.
it's how they would live in the wild, right? But I mean, it's a modified situation because
Mhm.
it's still probably a smaller population than they would
Right.
live in there in the true lakes.
Right.
Uh, but
True.
you're right. I think it does make them. They feel maybe more secure, and they build some more of those kind of social behaviors that if there's just 6 of them, they don't tend to do.
Right.
That's really
Um,
interesting.
Here's a quick tip for those thinking about getting into Maltese, the shore dwellers. Don't
Do it.
expect to put them in a 20-gallon with 6 of them and expect them to stay 6 of them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I started with 6 and a 40.
And it turned out to about 80 of them.
No, I struggled a little bit. I think there was some survival issues in the beginning.
Hmm.
Now I'm just starting to see babies pop up, and I
Yeah.
mean now they're what 3 years old, so
Right.
I think they've kind of sorted out sort of their own individual little groups of squabbles, and
Right.
um, but yeah, the population is definitely growing. But yeah, I think having a tank that size is part of the success. You can certainly do it smaller than that because
Yeah.
they are tiny fish. But I think you're right. I think it does have an impact to some degree.
Because you have that area. Basically, you take an area out of the lake, kind of, you
Yeah.
know. Because I started with 8. Now the average is about 40. Is about average
Yeah.
right now. Which
Yeah.
some people will say that's way too many fish for that tank. They're thriving.
Yeah.
So something's happening. Welcome, Outside Aquatics. Welcome. Did I miss anyone? I thought I missed someone coming in. I'm sorry if I missed you. We kind of on the topic. Anyways, moving on. Did we hit that good enough?
I think so.
Yeah. Now this one shouldn't be too hard. Open top aquarium versus lids. Why you got the open tank route versus the lids? For me, I got like 5 tanks or so that are open top, and those I keep adding water like every week to those tanks.
Hmm.
That I've had okay. Now these I have not seen, but I have tanks in the past that had open tops and seen a fish on the floor dried up.
Hmm.
So with a lid, it's a little bit more safer. It's still has a chance of a fish jumping out. So on this one, I would kind of lean on the lids on my tanks. Now also for jumping, but also for evaporation purposes as well. Go ahead, Todd.
Team lids all the way.
Woo!
Similar reasons to you, and I'll also add cuts down some of the noise,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
I keep right. So my setup, my tanks are in my home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't at this point have them separated off into a fish room. I've got them in rooms of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to try and keep it where it's not total like insanity. Right. If people come over, I want it, the people that come to visit, my friends and whatever, they think they're neat, but I still want to make sure that it, doesn't sound like a pet store. And so
Right.
right? So
Uh-huh.
the tops help with the noise. They do help with the evaporation and the humidity that goes into the different rooms. They definitely help when it comes to jumping. I have one pair of killifish, and killifish are known to jump. So, in that tank, certainly having the lid, I think, is important. It's not a guarantee because they could always probably figure out a way, but it helps take one little variable out of the equation. And so I'm team lids, 100%.
Oh, so welcome to the club, brother.
Thank you.
How about you? How about you, Mariah?
I think you guys said everything well enough as it is. Team lids.
Ooh,
Nice.
wow.
I knew we would reunite on some sort of a topic.
So should we
Yeah,
call tonight?
definitely. I mean, just everything that you guys pointed out, from the evaporation factor to, of course, the fish jumping out, and just the additional layer of just the noise dampening factor as well. Also, you could also probably argue that you could kind of do more like a custom lighting situation depending on the lid that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely lids. Absolutely.
Did you see
Oh.
Steven's comments?
Which one?
Vibes?
This one?
Check
This
those
one?
out. He's got two.
This one?
Well, he goes into it further down. He goes into more
Okay.
why.
But mostly because lids are annoying during maintenance, and the
Not
black.
wrong.
Yep, but I do have
Not
tips.
wrong about light blocking either.
Jumping. Yep. Steven, 100%. You're hitting the good points. I agree with you.
Those are definite downsides for sure. I don't think there's any way around the fact that is.
Yeah.
And I also think I think a nice rimless tank without a lid is a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
The things that you could do with it, you can have plants hanging out of them, or wood, or any of those kinds of things. He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I was
think
actually just about to touch on that, the rimless
for it.
ones.
Go ahead.
I've seen a lot of those where they've been set up where they've got clear brackets that go on the inside of the tank, and you also have a clear lid that sits beneath the lid of the tank, just far enough away from the water level where you still have that air circulation going in there, but you can't see it, so it's invisible and it still looks rimless, where you still have the lid as well. And to remove it, you just simply lift it up off of there, and you have full access to the entire top of the tank.
Right.
Yeah.
So does this kind of go into the same as canopies on your aquariums? Because that's kind of a lid.
They're not though, right? Because you theoretically couldn't you have a canopy without a lid? I don't know that you would, but right? You could. Because it's usually a can. Now I'm sure they make multiple varieties of canopies, but a lot of the ones that I've seen tend to go around, and they're more the decorative, almost like a molding type of piece that sits on the top. So I would classify them as different. I don't know why you would do a canopy and not a lid, because it takes away the whole element of having kind of that nice rimless look.
Right.
But I think they are technically different in my mind.
I would agree, yeah, because typically most canopies that I've seen anyways, they do have a lot of space between the actual tank itself, the top of the tank, and the top of where the canopy is. And when you open it up, there's a good bit of space in there, so there would still be a lot of that open air for evaporation and noise to come out of there. So I think it wouldn't be beneficial. Like you said, I don't think it would be beneficial to have one without a lid.
No lids with my 2 canopy tanks. That'd be hard to get in and out.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. A lot of people here in my club, some of the best ones on the saltwater side, they have canopies, but their canopies don't have lids. Okay, the tanks don't have lids on them. A lot of them.
Did you see the question? Did you see the question by Hagen Hill about asking about, I think, white worms?
Have any of you grown white worms for your fish for food? If so, do you feed? to certain fish? Also, what fish do you feed them to? How do you grow them? Wow. This is good questions. I have not.
No, I think there's certainly several videos that are out there about doing that. But no, I've the only worms that I've done microworms, but currently I do vinegar eels, so a different type of nematode. I've never done any of the white worms or black worms or grindle worms or anything like that.
Mhm.
It looks like maybe Riva has done it and was answering the question though. So thanks for doing
Awesome. Thanks, Riva. You're awesome. Welcome, Gina Sweet. Hey,
that. Hey,
Gina.
Gina.
And normally I don't do this, but since you're here, I gotta do a shout out. It happens.
Look
Go ahead
at that.
and get your own merch, y'all, from Gina's Reef.
Oh, that's better. Now we can see.
Isn't that just awesome?
That's a fancy cup.
I mean, you can see on the little white dots.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. Anyways, that was a gift from Gina on the Seal Santa in the fish community. So that was awesome. Anyways, welcome, Gina. Good to see you.
Someone else is Santa today too, huh, Vibes?
What?
Little inside joke.
Yeah. Do wood canopies get moldy?
I mean, I'm sure that they could. I don't know that they all have to, because the conditions, I guess, would have to be right. The humidity level, and
Right.
you'd have to be getting enough moisture on the wood or in the wood for that to happen. So I'm sure it's definitely possible, but I don't know.
Yeah.
June said she's got 2 tanks that have them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of canopies though are also made, like the inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
The newer ones, anyways, are made with like a sealed wood, if it is wood. Some type of like spray or sealing stain on the inside of it to kind of help prevent that. Or even the type of paint could be mold resistant paint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So similar idea. June said she waterproofs all of the stands, so
Yeah.
there's no mold issue. So possible, yes. Likely sounds like not if the conditions are not right, or you take the precautions like waterproofing.
Right.
Right. And I would just say, not based on any experience I've ever had, of course, because I don't keep salt water, but in several videos I've seen, a lot of people will have issues with rust on the metal brackets on the inside of their canopy if it's got doors on it.
Yep.
Just because that salt water is highly acidic and it's going to rust that metal.
Yep. Yeah. I can understand how that would happen. Looks like we picked up the lovely Foxy has joined us.
Foxy's here, y'all. Foxy's here. Woo! All right, everyone, on your best behavior. Starting now.
Is Ed going on tonight, guys? Do you know?
9:35, I believe. Let me just check real quick, just to make sure. It won't take me but a second.
All right, ready to do that? Latoya, let you land.
9:30 tonight on the dot.
Okay. All right. And tonight's hashtag would be at odds.
Hashtag at odds.
I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. And then we'll keep going.
Hey, Latoya.
Because if I don't do it, I'm going to forget. There you go. That is weird. Anyways, next one. Routine maintenance versus whenever it suits. I'm kind of on the team on routine maintenance. You're more liable to catch mistakes or oops, and it's a good time to check your fish closer than just walking back past the tank, you know. And okay, I've done both ways, but I've had better success with a routine maintenance. How about you, TJ?
I am also a routine maintenance doer. I get into a schedule. I find what works. For me, it tends to be water changes every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else that the tanks need, whether it's some filter maintenance or cleaning the lids, whatever, I take care of them at that time. I tend to feel like, and I've heard it before, right, on live streams where Kelly and Steven have talked about, and others, plants liking water changes. And so, especially when I think about a lot of the tanks that I've got that do have plants in them, I just feel like it's beneficial all around. We keep the fish in the cleaner water. We keep the plants with kind of resetting all the nutrients so we could refertilize. I feel like there's a lot of benefit. Now, it's interesting. I wasn't sure how you were going to go because I have some insider information that your multi-tank, you don't typically do a lot of regular maintenance on. So I wasn't sure how we were going to go on this one.
It's kind of fun being a mystery occasionally. Now, you mentioned a good point. Some of my tanks, yeah, those are not on routine maintenance. They're off of it. But the majority, the ones, that's a hard one. Anyways, I'll step back. Is there an echo?
Yeah, I hear something, music or something.
Something.
No,
I'm not hearing what you guys are hearing.
You're not?
No, it's not me.
I still hear it, and I muted myself.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's just King beating on a bucket.
Just King beating it. Yeah, probably. Or licking the couch really loud.
Do y'all still hear it?
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Dang.
It's not horrible. Go ahead, Mariah.
We almost made it a full hour through the live stream with no problems, y'all.
Hey, everyone in the chat, put a 1 in the chat for Mariah. She's doing awesome.
Hey, no big deal.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, I'm gonna just mute myself until it's time for me to answer.
It's your turn.
It's your turn. Routine maintenance versus whatever it suits.
All right, I'm gonna make this quick so that way the echo is not annoying. For me, it's definitely gonna be routine maintenance. And when I first started, it was once a week, every Sunday. Then I put a lot more filtration in there. I got 2 hang-on bags and an internal filter in there now. So I've cut that back down to 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. I do fairly large water changes. I do it between 40 and 50%. So I think it works really, really well. And like you said, you can catch different problems. You can, it gives you a better chance to observe how it's moving from week to week, how it's developing and changing. And like you said, TJ, I think it's very important to keep them in a much cleaner water environment, and just keep the ecosystem running more cleanly. And like you said, just kind of have a reset of those nutrients as well in the system. Mm-hmm. So definitely routine maintenance for me.
Excellent.
Awesome. Maybe we should end now because we're all on the same page right now.
We'll have to risk it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's risk it. Breeding for profit versus breeding for enjoyment. For a while there, I was actually breeding for profit for a while, but you know what? I was getting stressed out. I was getting worried. Oh, that one died. Oh, I lost that one. I wasn't enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? Now, am I still breeding fish? Oh yeah, but I'm not doing. That's not my livelihood. It's a hobby. So what lives survives. I either sell it, give it away, trade, etc. So I'm kind of on the fence of breeding for enjoyment. How about you, TJ?
I gotta go with the same answer. This is my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I have two hobbies in life. You all know what they are. One is fish, and the other is my racing.
Mm-hmm.
I do them because I love them, and because of what they give me from a joy perspective and from just a stress relief. And it's not that there aren't stressful times in both of those hobbies, but
Mm-hmm.
in general, I make the decisions that I do about those hobbies with the idea that they're for fun, and I'm there to meet people that have a similar interest and to share information and just to have the experience. And so for me, it's definitely all about the pleasure side of everything that I do, and not trying to make it for me a second job or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Mariah?
Well, for me, I would say that, well, first of all, I don't currently breed any fish actively right now. But if I were to breed, I would say that I would agree with both of you in that I would probably do it for just the enjoyment. Just because, number one, I have not got the capacity or the space to breed
Mm-hmm.
fish in my home. Um, Nor would I want the hassle or the headache of shipping and having the constant turnover as far as deaths goes, because we all know in breeding you're going to have a lot of that. And there's no matter how perfect your water parameters are or what you do that's right, there's nothing you can do to prevent it in a lot of cases. So yeah, I definitely, if I were to breed, I would agree in that it would be for enjoyment.
Mm-hmm. Nice. This is getting good, y'all. We're all in agreement.
There's still time, vibes. I don't know. There's still time
Ah,
for this whole thing to go south.
yeah. Okay, let's move on before it does. Acrylic versus glass, and this would be for your aquariums. Uh, I like for big tanks. I like the acrylic because of the weight wise, but I do not like how easy they are to scratch. Um, so if I had to choose, and weight doesn't matter, it'd be the glass, 100%. So I'm in the glass aquarium team. How about you,
Me
TJ?
too. I've only ever kept glass. I don't have big tanks. I don't keep big fish currently. And so for that, the glass tanks do perfectly. You don't have some of the issues related to the scratching and things like that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you can't scratch them, because I think there's definitely a couple of
Oh
spots
yeah.
where maybe I used the razor blade a little too aggressively
Yep.
and I had like a little streak, but it's been more forgiving. They're available everywhere, right? You can get the tanks on the 50% off sale.
Right.
So for me, it seems to work. In fact, I think if I was to think of sort of dream tank in the future, if I was to go with something big, I would probably want to go with like one of the low iron glass types of tanks.
Yes.
Right? I think something like that would be beautiful, and I'm not sure what I'd exactly put in it, but that would be where I would go versus even necessarily considering acrylic. Not that again, I've never had one. I don't have anything to say bad about them, but yeah, but I think it's just something that kind of that's where I've gravitated.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Mariah?
All right, so here are my reasons why I would choose glass aquarium over acrylic, just like you guys.
Whoa.
Whoa, this is good.
So first reason, of course, like y'all pointed out, much less easy to scratch. Number one, like you said, of course, it's not that it's not possible, but it's a lot less likely. You can be a lot more rigorous in your cleaning and not have to necessarily worry about it. Also, along with that, when you do scratch a glass aquarium, it's a lot less visible to the naked eye. In most cases, I mean, you know, it's not right up at the very top where it's just open water. You know what I mean? It's a lot less likely to be visible. Number two reason, glass aquariums are much cheaper than acrylic because the material is a lot less expensive to produce. Also, fun fact, glass is a lot more sustainable and less harmful for the environment to produce than acrylic is. So there's that as well. While acrylic is a lot more lightweight than glass, it also has the non-benefit of tarnishing really easily over time, especially if you're using something like a high-powered lighting or UV lighting in particular. They have the tendency to kind of get foggy or turn yellow and just get really not too good-looking tint over time.
Right.
Also, with that yellowish coloration and that warping over time, they can tend to get very brittle and will lose their integrity and can crack a lot easier than a glass would. And then the third reason I would say would probably be for the optical clarity of glass. While you could polish the heck out of some acrylic and get it very, very clear, personally, in my opinion, from what I have seen, I would say that the optical clarity that you can achieve in a glass aquarium is much better than acrylic.
Right.
Not to knock acrylic entirely, because there are benefits to it as well. Like I said, the lightweight factor, also the customization factor. You can customize the shape and sizes a little bit more easily as opposed to with glass. But overall, my concrete, definite opinion of which one I would prefer would absolutely be glass.
All right, let's go.
There's still an agreement, TJ.
Wow. So Steven's he's saying he came here for screaming and disagreement, not to agree with each other. So we're not meeting his expectations. June said that larger tanks, the price evens out between glass and acrylic. So I think that's really interesting. Like I said, I don't keep large tanks, so I've never priced them out, but that's great to know. And she said the new acrylic tanks, they don't yellow. They're guaranteed for life. So apparently that technology has really come a long way as far as the creation of the acrylic. So
nice.
That's good.
And if you want to talk about screaming and disagreement, how about this, guys? I was eating a honey bun backstage before going live. Vibes here suggested I put cheese on it. Discuss that.
Not just any cheese.
Scream about that.
Not just any cheese. Cottage
cheese on my honey bun, my little Debbie honey bun.
That's how we started tonight. Was that situation ridiculous?
So
that's what we were screaming and disagreeing about.
We were at odds before we even started. So now we're trying to bring back together again.
Yeah, there we go. This is the reunion. The backstage was the being at odds. The live is the reunion. There we go. Glad we got that situation.
More drama. Hey, I think I'm at odds with the chat too.
You are? Oh man, yeah. I'm seeing some reactions here that are very disappointed in you, Vibes. Very disappointed.
Okay.
You've made good old Mark Sterlson, our friend from Australia, basically sick. He has shown in his
Hey,
How dare you try to deface a little Debbie cake like that? A little
This
Debbie
is
honey
not
bun?
okay.
How dare you?
We are officially
Straight to
speaking
jail
out
right
against
away.
this.
okay. Before I make the whole chat sick, let's move on. Plants versus no plants. That I would go with the plants 100%. Now, if you can't have plants in the aquarium, put them to hang them back. Do like a flower box by your tank with the plants going out of it. So I would still go with plants if possible. The reason, not just for looks, but it does help with nitrates in your water column. So, there. I'm team plants the whole way. Oh, you TJ.
Sorry, I got distracted. Hagen says cottage cheese belongs to oatmeal. I don't know what is going on with that, but to me, like, do you mix them? Nope, nope. I'm not sure I can get there. I like oatmeal, but I don't know. So Hagen Hill, please clarify that one for us because I'm getting distracted here with my question. But
Yeah.
I'll put myself back on topic and say I am team live plants in every tank that I can possibly make it work. I think the benefits are great, and I think they make the tank look beautiful. I will not claim to be the best plant grower. I am envious of those that do, but I'm starting to get better. I don't do CO2, right? So it's still very low tech, low light. But I just think they have so many benefits aesthetically as well as what they can do. I think it's, I think it's definitely plants for me.
How about you, Mariah?
Here we go again. Plans for me as well.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, Chad.
I'm sorry. I know y'all keep looking to me to cause some trouble, but
Yeah.
I keep having to go last here. I'm in the illustrious position of last place on this discussion we're having. So
We'll switch it up so you're not always the last ditch effort.
no, it's all good. I don't mind it. The chat can come down on my head.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely plants for me as well. Just like you guys said, they do have enormous benefits from aesthetics to benefits in the tank, like just the life of the tank, from oxygen production to helping with nitrates and ammonia, to not only that, but just giving the fish a much more natural environment to what they would be used to in the wild. So totally agree. All the way, plants.
Hey, for those who don't know, this is off topic a little bit. Back to the chat. I do have one friend that I know of.
Just one?
Just one. That kind of graze on. There's one other person that eats cottage cheese as well.
Or do you add? Have you tried this, Vibes? I am so confused by this situation.
Oatmeal and cottage cheese? Why not?
Vibes, I feel like you would put cottage cheese on just about anything.
Mm-hmm,
Oh yeah,
mm-hmm.
oh yeah. I have not tried it in my coffee yet. I haven't gone that far yet.
Oh jeez.
Okay. Don't you blaspheme no caffeine like that. You put cream and sugar. That's it.
And I wanted to go back to a question from Riva asking me specifically if I'd invest in GMO glow plants so you can have them in a glowfish tank. So I don't know that I see myself ever having a glowfish tank itself. Not for any reason, because frankly, when I was at the Clash and Kelly Kelly Foreman did a talk about how glowfish came to be, I gained a little bit of a new appreciation for what they are and the science behind them. But I don't think that I would probably personally set one up. It's not something that, really is, I feel like in the limited number of tanks that I have and probably plan to have, I don't know that would kind of end up getting to be on the list. I suppose if I was into glowfish, then I think you got to go all the way, like everything glow, right? Because that's like the whole thing.
Right.
So I feel like if you liked the idea of the glowfish and didn't have any issues with all of the scientific work behind the scenes that went into them, right? And again, I think there's people probably that have different opinions on that. But I think if that's something that you're interested in, I think, yeah, you got to go all the way. Like, why stop at that and then do
Right.
the rest of the tank kind of normal? I think it loses its impact. So
I agree with you. Okay. Gravel versus sand substrate. Go ahead, Mariah.
It's gonna be sand for me.
Ooh.
Tell us more, please.
So, as you guys know, I had originally started, other than my betas, of course, I had originally started with African cichlids. Now, as we all know, they like to dig, they like to move stuff around, they like to redecorate. And gravel is just not ideal for that, for them especially. Or it wasn't in my tank at least. So I switched them to sand instead. I am using the Carib Sea Fiji Pink sand, which is also got crushed coral in it as well, to help to be as a buffer. And one thing I noticed is that not only does the aquarium stay a bit cleaner over time, but it's a lot easier to maintain. For instance, the sand is it's a lot smaller, so they stay closer together. It's a lot more compact of a surface. While you can get detritus and waste down in there, and there is a possibility for small gas pockets to develop as well in the sand, I think it's a lot easier to maintain as far as doing water changes and things of that nature, because most of that stuff is just going to sit on top that hasn't already been swept up into the filters, depending on the flow of your aquarium. Also, I feel sand just kind of gives a much more natural look to most aquariums, depending on the tank that you're setting up. And I would say the only disadvantage of using sand is that it is very compact, so it is not necessarily always extremely beneficial for plant growth, just because the roots would have a hard time being able to spread out and create that network that they would need to be sustained. However, if you were using a combination of sand and something like along the lines of like aqua soil or something like that, and even root tabs, of course, then you could get away with using rooted plants very easily, and they would thrive pretty well even in sand. What about you guys?
I am. So I have tanks that are gravel, tanks that are sand, and tanks that are bare bottom. For me, I think I'd go gravel.
Ooh.
I think I would go gravel. I feel like I am one who tends to gravel vac, right? When I do my every 2-week water changes, especially in the tanks that are much less planted. And the gravel makes that process a lot easier. I know, with a sand, a lot of the stuff stays on the surface. So, that is a certainly something that is not difficult, but I always find that I start picking a bunch up every once in a while. I end up dropping the siphon a little bit too close to it, and all of a sudden I got a big plume of sand in the darn siphon, and that's ends up right. I'm like, craziness. It's a scene, and then I'm muttering to myself as the sand is flying out the python. Yeah, no. So I have no desire to change what I've got from a substrate perspective. So it's not like I'm really committed to it and I'm going to change. But if I had my preference, I feel like for me it's easier to work with the gravel, and I like that.
Yeah. I like June's comment. I like to use rocks, gravel, and sand for a natural look and wood. Hey, June, I kind of agree with you on that.
She's right.
If I'm doing an aquascape, yes. I
She's
use
right.
all of that. But between the two, gravel versus sand, I look at my tanks while we're talking, and most of my tanks are sand. I used to have all gravel, but I switched over to the sand not only because the fish rather be digging in sand versus gravel. I got a lot of sand movers here in my house, in my tanks. So I guess I'm team sand. So great.
Wow, I am outnumbered.
Yeah.
I hang my head in shame.
I got a good feeling that we're all definitely gonna be in agreement on the last few topics here.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know, but Steven's gonna be very disappointed with us, and I'm not sure I can handle that.
Yeah.
We got about 8 minutes to rock it out, so let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, we do. We gotta go here.
Okay, water changes versus no water changes. And
I got an idea. Let's all
Yep.
say our answer on the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
Water
Water
changes. Yep. Done.
That was done. Okay, moving on.
Move along.
Chemical filtration versus no chemical filtration. I'm kind of on the no chemical, unless if you have to. Okay, don't get me wrong. The carbon, the aquachar, that's good stuff. But if I don't need it, I don't do it. So I'm a team no chemical filtration.
Same. I do not use chemical filtration in any of my aquariums. I did without really realizing it when I first had started in the hobby as a kid, because I had the filters with the cartridges and kind of fell down that whole rabbit hole of stuff. But now I don't use those. So it's just sponges and some biomedia in some of the tanks, and that's it. I haven't found a need for it yet. I certainly know I could put it in if I needed to, like you said, for an issue, but in general, I don't do it.
Yeah. How about you, Mariah?
I do.
Oh boy.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes,
She's one of those vibes.
Yeah.
The only thing I use currently is active carbon. That's it. I have experimented with using Purigen in the past, but I felt it was a bit too concentrated for the size tank that it was in at the time. But yeah, I think the reason being is because I feed my guys a lot. Like they get fed 2 to 3 times a day. It's small feedings. It's nothing excessive, but they eat a lot, and cichlids, as we know, are pretty messy. So yeah, I like to have that extra layer of filtration. You can't have too much filtration.
I don't know what you're talking about. My cichlids are dainty little eaters.
Well, I mean, shell dwellers versus, South America.
Yeah, I mean that's just fish choice. There's nothing I could do to help you there.
Your babies are very graceful. Okay.
They are. They
Mine,
are.
on the other hand, are little, whats.
Mm.
Hey,
Those Texas cichlids, I secretly heart those Texas cichlids.
yeah.
They're my babies. I do love them.
They're pretty fish.
I call them greedy every morning.
Mm-hmm.
When you look like that, I guess you can be greedy.
That's right. Well, did we hit all of our topics tonight, guys? I think we did.
We hit all of them, and we have 1 minute to spare before our man Ed takes off with Crap Ed tonight. So please, everybody, go over there and hang out with him and whoever he's got up there with him tonight.
Hashtag at odds. Since we finished at the odds, we got it.
That's right.
All right. Before we get off, y'all, you got him to say quick. All right, and TJ.
Just thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. I really like all the engagement we get from our crowd every week. And as I always say, guys, thanks for having me. I really enjoy these Thursday nights, being able to chat with you guys. It's a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Mariah?
Of course, as always, thanks for having me. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming and watching. Those of you in replay, come back and watch us next week live so you can join in on all the fun and craziness. And as always, treat others how you want to be treated. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And may God treat you how you treat animals and elders.
Thank you. And thanks to the replay crew. If you're still here yet, you guys rock. And hey, my new logo. Positive vibes. Positive vibes.
Right back at you, Sam.
Until later, enjoy the going out. Peace out.